Hi, everyone. I am back. Today, we are going to be talking about how to reconcile that distance between where you are and where you want to be. I was once, way back when, with my amazing therapist, and I think I was about to leave the session. It kind of came a little bit late in the session, and she said, the measure of one's suffering is equal to the distance between where you are and where you want to be, what you have and what you wish you have. That is how much suffering one is in, is like, where do I want to be? Where am I at? If those two things are pretty close to each other, the measure of your suffering is probably pretty minimal. But if those two things are pretty far apart, then the amount of suffering that you have increases. So what do you do about it? It's a new year. Many people have set up New Year's resolutions or goals for themselves. I know I have. And so, one way that you can resolve that distance and minimize your suffering is to make changes, to change your life in a way so that you're living in a way that is more closely similar to where you want to be, right? So, that is one strategy. But that strategy can take time. And sometimes there are immovable forces that just cannot be changed. And so what do you do when the what do you do? You can try to move forward, but if you can't do that or it's not there yet, then there are two other options that I find that I rely upon greatly. I'm going to share them with you today. Number one is gratitude. So, what do I mean by gratitude? A lot of people will go, yeah, I'm thankful for my life. I know, first world problems, yada, yada. Gratitude to me is not exactly something that is a blanket statement. As Brene Brown points out, it's not an attitude of gratitude. Gratitude is when we take a moment to stop, to slow down, and to really kind of take stock and to appreciate the small things. And when I say small things, it can be as small as you want. It can be big, it can be small. So one of my big ones that I almost always default to is I'm grateful for my health. I am grateful for the current health and safety of myself and my family in this moment. That is a big gratitude. And it's really different than to say, I'm really grateful for my life. It's something really different to say, I am grateful that in this moment, I am healthy. In this moment, I am safe. And so are all the people I know and love. I am grateful for that. And even if not everybody's in a clean bill of health, I am grateful they're still here, that they're here on this planet. So it can be big like that. But it can also be small. I'm grateful there is ink in my pen. I am grateful there is battery life in my phone. I'm grateful that I have electricity coursing through my home that can charge my battery and program and keep my laptop fresh, right? So it's that slowing down. And in that, what happens when we practice that kind of gratitude is that we end up it opens us up and it can be quite vulnerable. Gratitude is a great tool to use when you may be having some foreboding joy. It's like, oh my gosh, things are so great with my kids, and they go away on a overnight, and you go, oh my gosh, what if something tragic happens to them? Gratitude. In this moment, I am grateful that they have great friends, and I'm grateful that there's a family willing to take them. And in this moment, I know my child is safe and loved and well, right? So it can mitigate that fear. And shout out to my old boss, Gail, who told me when she wakes up at 3 a.m. and her mind is spinning on all the to-do list, the thing that helps her go back to sleep is gratitude. And I'm telling you, it works like a charm. If you are up at 3 a.m., I used to live in the Bay Area, so I would wake up at 3 in the morning worrying about earthquakes. That was where my brain would go. And the thing that would interrupt it, the only thing that could interrupt it was not making a to-do list, not making a plan. The thing that would interrupt that fear was gratitude. In this moment, I am grateful an earthquake is not happening. In this moment, my house is safe and sturdy. In this moment, my family is sound asleep and peaceful and safe and happy and healthy. And that would be enough to kind of like get myself back down. So that's what gratitude does. Okay. It cuts through the fear and it helps appreciate and acknowledge a little bit more about where you are. So let's talk about the second thing, acceptance. Acceptance, when I talk about acceptance, I'm not talking about reluctance. Like, okay, well, or resignation, like I give up. That's not what I'm talking about with acceptance. With acceptance, what I mean is like a radical acceptance that this is the way life is in this moment. Oftentimes we can go, well, I don't want my life to be like this. I want it to be something else. So I'm not going to acknowledge where life has put me in this moment, especially when it comes to painful or really difficult circumstances. We can kind of go, I'm not going to look at it, I'm not going to look at it. Or we can spiritually try to bypass it and go, I'm just going to manifest a new way of being. And I'm not going to give this any of my negative energy. And I'm not going to pay attention to it. I'm only going to think about where I want to be. Well, what that's doing is it's denying the reality of where you are right now. And oftentimes life won't let you move forward until you acknowledge the way it is. And acknowledging the way it is isn't saying, okay, I guess this is how my life is for the rest of my life. Okay, I guess I'm stuck here. Okay, I guess I'm trapped here. No, it just means that you are radically able to just be like, this is how my life is right now. And it's painful and it's hard and it sucks. And I'm not very happy with it. But I recognize that this is the reality of what's happening. And I don't want to stay here and I want to keep moving forward, but I also have to acknowledge the pain with the hope. I have to bring that in and kind of be with what is here. Why? Because it helps your brain get back online. It helps acknowledge the circumstances and it helps you be able to problem solve. It helps you be able to see opportunity. It helps you to be able to manifest a different future. But part of that process means taking stock, taking an honest stock of what's actually here and not fighting against it. So when we can radically accept this is what's here, and we can be really grateful, radically grateful for the blessings, then we're better able to shrink the gap between where we are and where we want to be. Because where we want to be, gratitude kind of goes, oh, I thought I wanted to be here, but actually there's some really good things. Ooh, that gets narrowed. Where we are and where we want to be, when we can radically accept, you know what? This is how my brain works. This is the time of my life. This is the season of my life that I'm in. This is the circumstance that I'm in. When we can kind of like acknowledge that, then whoop, that distance shrinks. And suddenly it's not exactly like, yeah, of course we want to be somewhere else, but I also recognize this is where I'm at. If you have a toddler and an infant and you are up all night, sure, you want your sleep. But you know what? They're only this age once. And so there's gratitude for the preciousness of this time. And there's acceptance that this season of my life, I'm not getting a lot of sleep. That'll come later. But I accept that this season of life, that's not in my cards. So instead of looking at but I want more sleep, but I want more sleep. It's like, well, nope. Fact is, I'm not going to get a lot of sleep right now. So what am I going to do? How else can I take care of myself? If sleep isn't going to be my best way of taking care of myself, and it always has been, then what am I going to do next? Right? That's what acceptance does. It shrinks that gap and goes, okay, this isn't an option right now, but guess what? There are a lot of other options. This just isn't one available right now. That's what I have for you today. Couple of things. number one, if you like this video or any of the content I create, please like, please share. It makes the algorithm gods happy. And number two, I wrote a bit about what I just talked about today in my weekly newsletter. One of my goals is to send out a weekly newsletter. If you're interested in getting a little dose of inspiration every Monday, then head over to my website at AllisonKinnear.com. There will be a pop-up that says, hey, you want to get on my newsletter list? And say yes. Because I'm working on it every week and I'm so loving all the things that I'm creating. So these videos will be more in conjunction with the content that I'm creating. So yeah, that's what I have for you. Next week, I am going to be in Seattle for my Not a TED Talk because the TED conference got canceled. So, but I'm still going. So I may see you there, or I may be hanging out with friends and clients and people in the Seattle area. So next week is a little up in the air when it comes to Facebook Live, but or YouTube Live. But trust me, I will be back. Okay, take care. Have a great day, everyone.